Previously on Hannah's Diary, I just went to Florence and Bologna for 5 days. I had so much fun, and now we're in Milan. Buongiorno! It's a brand new day, and now we're heading out the hotel. We're gonna do some shopping today. I was actually wearing the handmade sailor hat I made today, and since our hotel was literally in the heart of Milan, the first stop was the Duomo. It was actually just a 5-minute walk from our hotel. Even though the weather was a little gloomy, we were really excited to see the Duomo. We're at the Duomo. There are just so many people here. The Duomo was so iconic and incredibly majestic. Me and my mom took some photos in the plaza, and then we headed to the famous Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. The space in there, especially the glass dome, was so beautiful and so unique. The moment we walked in, we were completely drawn into the atmosphere. We had a light lunch at a little restaurant inside the Galleria. I had some pasta and bread. After lunch, we walked to the famous Via Monte Napoleone area for some shopping time. There were so many cute boutiques and stores in the area, but my first stop was Chloe. I've been eyeing the Paddington bag for at least half a year, and my friend told me that getting it in Italy was actually so much cheaper than the US. So I waited for so long and I was finally getting my Paddington. I was so happy. Then we went to Valentino and my mom bought the cutest little black lamb handbag. And after that, we went to Pomellato, a Milanese jewelry brand. My mom and I already had matching rings from them, and this time we got a new pair. Then we found this super cute store with some dachshund icon, and of course I had to go in because I have a dachshund. We bought a shirt and some plushy dachshund keyrings and had afternoon tea at Cova Monte Napoleone, one of the OG coffee shops in Milan. And the beautiful 3-tiered afternoon tea set came with both savory and sweet snacks. The hot drinks we got really picked us up on such a gloomy day, and the pastries were so good, especially this one with the strawberry on top. I thought it was going to be like a tiny strawberry shortcake vibe, but it was actually savory, which was really new to me. Today, I'm wearing a sailor color hoodie to match the whole vibe with my sailor hat set. And as you can see, I already styled my new Chloe bag and also the Miu Miu Mary Janes I got in Florence. And then we headed to this water bottle shop where my mom and I got the cutest matching water bottles. And for the last stop before dinner, I think I found my favorite store from my entire Italy trip. It's called L'Arabesque Milano. Everything in there was just so perfect. I honestly wanted every single piece in the store. I tried on so many things and ended up getting a white and a black tutu skirt. It was the hardest decision, but I love them so much. They're just so cute and so perfect. On the way to the restaurant, we spotted a cute bakery. We bought some pastries for the next morning because we were leaving early for my mom's meeting with her client. The whole walk through the neighborhood was so enjoyable, and before we knew it, we had arrived at the restaurant. For dinner, we went to Pizza AM, and it is honestly the happiest place I've ever been to. It was recommended by one of my local friends, and not only was the interior the cutest, but their pizza was also one of the best pizzas I ever had in my whole life. I got a Neapolitan pizza with anchovies, and my mom, I forgot what she had, but they were both so delicious that we finished the whole pie. We also had tiramisu for dessert, and then we headed back to the hotel to take some rest. The next day, we woke up super early and skipped breakfast because we had to head out to my mom's client meeting. I was wearing the tutu skirt I bought the day before, and I also packed coffee in the water bottle I bought yesterday along with the chocolate bread we picked up from the bakery. Then we met up with my mom's client, and since the drive to their company was about an hour from Milan, we ended up having lunch with them first. They took us to a really pretty local restaurant owned by their family friend. I was actually kind of nervous since it's a business lunch, but everyone was so nice that I actually had a great time. I had some fresh local seafood dishes and everything was so yummy, especially the baby octopus and their homemade bread. I also tried the dessert they recommended, which was custard with cream puffs, and it was so good. We also had some coffee after and some free candy from the restaurant before we head into their company for the meeting, which lasted until around 5:30 p.m. And after that, they drove us back to Milan. And now, please enjoy the beautiful views of Milan from our drive back. Since we still had some time before our dinner reservation, we went to Fondazione Prada. As an art major, I feel like it was an absolute must-do on my list, and I was so right because I would have really regretted not going. It was incredible. We saw the famous Golden House, the Mushroom Room, and so many beautiful exhibitions. We were honestly so lucky because the weather was so blessed and it was golden hour, which made the entire space feel even more magical. Even just being there and experiencing the architecture was completely worth it. I also got to see Louis Bourgeois' exhibition, and I really wish I could have stayed longer, but it was closing and we had to head to dinner. We just went to the Prada Foundation and it was amazing. Their space, their collection, everything was perfect, and now we're heading to our dinner. And then here we are at the restaurant we were going to have dinner, Contraste. It's a Michelin-starred restaurant, and this was actually the meal I was most excited about for our entire trip because I had heard so much about their beautiful interior as well as how they reinterpret classic Italian dishes into playful, modern, conceptual forms. And when we walked in, I was absolutely floored by the interior, and we seriously got the best table in the whole room. The first course was the shrimp jelly. It was super refreshing and also so pretty. And then came the scallop noodle dish, where scallops were turned into noodle form. And the lobster soup was rich, flavorful, and honestly one of my favorite. Even the foam was incredible. I'm definitely not a foam person, but I absolutely loved this dish. The mussels, cacio e pepe, wasn't really given in my opinion, but the modern Milanese was incredible and ended up being my mom's favorite dish. They gave this classic dish a much more creative modern twist while still keeping all the comforting flavors. It felt playful, elevated, and was definitely one of the standout courses of the night. The bolognese donut was such a fun idea. Basically, pasta and ragu reimagined in a completely different form, and it was so good. They also used a lot of uncommon ingredients like rabbit kidney and rare cooked Iberian pork. Even though they assured us it was completely safe to eat, we were definitely a little intimidated at first. But once we tried it, it was actually incredibly tender and delicious. As for dessert, they started with a candied jasmine lemon curd that was pleasantly sour and worked perfectly as a palate cleanser after all the savory dishes. The cotton candy raspberry cream was also super refreshing. Then they served chocolates and ganaches before ending with their famous roses cake, served hot with vanilla gelato. It was honestly heavenly. And even after all 14 courses, we actually didn't feel overly stuffed like we usually do after most long Michelin tasting menus, which was really nice. After dinner, we took a stroll back to the hotel and called it a night. On our last morning in Milan, we had breakfast at our hotel Tivoli President, and the breakfast buffet was actually really great. The standout for me was definitely their toffee chocolate banana bread. It was so yummy that I had 2 pieces. I also had 2 pieces of their chantilly cake, which definitely made it a very sinful morning. And after breakfast, I headed out for one last walk around Milan before my flight to Warsaw. I stopped by DMAG, which was basically a designer's brand thrift store with great selection of second-hand luxury pieces, and ended up finding this amazing polka dot Valentino jacket. After that, I went to a beautiful floral cafe. The interior was absolutely gorgeous, but since the weather was so nice and the cafe was right by a little park, I decided to sit outside and just people watch for a while. It's been a really nice trip, and we had so much fun here in Milan and also in Florence and Bologna. We will be heading to Warsaw this evening, which just kind of make me a little bit emotional because I just can't believe that our trip is almost over. We just have one last stop in Warsaw, and it's been really, really nice. So I really hope the trip is longer and I got to spend more time with my mom and do more stuff. But since this is a business trip, we couldn't do much. But I'm still so grateful and happy that I got to take this trip with my mom. We had the best time in Italy, and honestly, I just really wished it could be longer. On the way back to the hotel, I walked through a local market selling home goods, fresh groceries, and antiques. In that moment, I honestly couldn't help but imagine how dreamy life would feel living in Milan. Then I finished packing and we caught a cab to the airport. I was definitely sad to leave Milan, but since we still have one more stop ahead, it was such a bittersweet mix of excitement and sadness. So now we're on board on a plane to Warsaw, and I still can't believe our trip to Italy has ended. It's been so special. Like genuinely one of the trips that I'm going to think about for a long time. It's actually my first time ever to Poland, so I'm really excited for this part of my trip. I feel like it's going to be really amazing. And I think think that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching and coming along with me. I had the best time, and I'll see you really soon in the next one. Ciao, ciao!